don't call me Jiggy when I'm home, they call me Snowman. Yeah. We ain't never home, but treat the city like the base. Yeah, you know where to look if you're looking for the wave. Yeah, looking for the.
Welcome to the EuroSteppin Podcast, where we bring the real deal with European basketball. Hear from players about how they live as international basketball players. I'm your host, David Dixon, along with my co-host,
Alvin Snow.
Today we have a very, very special guest. One of my first European teammates, an automatic bucket. The first guy I've known to cross somebody over and shoot a fadeaway three all net. I mean, this guy, I've seen the best defenders have problems with this guy. None other than Yoda, Rashad Phillips. Rashad, thank you for being here with us, man.
What's up, fellas? I'm so excited to be here. Dave, that's a great introduction. You know, you're the only person that, and I'm saying this now before we even get started. Like, you're the only person to beat me in a shooting contest, bro. And I'm still mad at that. I'm still mad that you beat me in a fadeaway contest, bro, overseas, man. I want my rematch.
Yeah, what people don't know is my signature move when I first started coming over to Europe was the fadeaway in the post.
Yeah.
So me and Rashad had a fadeaway contest because I seen him shoot a couple of fadeaway threes. But our contest, but you got to understand, our contest wasn't in practice. It was during the game.
During the game. Hey, no, this is a different dude right here, man. different type teammate right here.
Right.
I've never had a teammate like Big Dave. Yeah, I haven't, and I've had hundreds of teammates, but
right.
he is one of a kind teammate. I can tell you that for sure.
Listen, he my teammate right now. I know.
And he's more calm now. He older. Trust me. He's my teammate in our 20s.
What you don't know is I've been knowing him since he just hit 20. I met him at 20.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man. Yeah. I'm excited, guys. Like, really, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, man. We had to, man. You know, we brought this show. We want to, you know, show the people about how the European players are. Everyone talk about NBA, but nobody knows about how us players who played in Europe live, the cultures, how did they survive. So as we start off, won't you name the countries that you played in, Sean?
I played in Italy. I played in France, Turkey, Greece, Poland, Australia, Saudi Arabia. I mean, I've been everywhere. You know, I played in all. I mean, there's almost not a country that I haven't played in.
Right.
You know, but I can say what I've scored in every country I've touched. Everywhere I landed, I got a bucket.
Right.
There's a lot of dudes that get off the plane don't put the ball in the hole. I put the ball in the hole in every country that I landed. So let's get that straight.
Yeah, I say that, man. I told one of my guys, man, I interviewed Chris Wright the other day. And I told him he was in my top 3 point guards that I played with.
Yeah.
He asked me, man, you know, who was your other 2? I was like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I got to put Rashad Phillips in there, and I got to put Cliff Hawkins in there. Because Rashad Phillips knew how to put that ball in the hole. Like, I was caught – I tell people this all the time. I caught myself standing and watching you while we was on the court. I mean, I remember a game where I run up to try to set a pick for you, and you just said, "No, I don't want that. just go down. I don't need that."
Hey, Dave, get out of here.
I got it.
You know, but it was funny. It was funny, Dave, because it was like you know, a lot of times at that time, you know, in our era, you know, small point guards it was unacceptable for us to be great scorers in our era.
Right.
We got frowned upon for being what is celebrated in today's game. You know, so we kind of came up in an era where my style of play was kind of taboo.
Right.
You know, I lost a lot of jobs because of that. And a lot of people don't know that. So I'm glad to kind of share that story on you guys' platform, is that I actually lost tons of money because of the things we talked about. Me being a great scorer at 5'9", teams didn't want me because of that. There was only the market for my style of player was very small, very minimum, because everybody wanted those guards that could really just distribute, hit a shot when they're open, and that just wasn't my style of play. So I would lose a lot of jobs, you know, like my European career, my career in Europe average is 20 points and 5 assists my entire career. And that's a lot of places I went, I would have to dump down.
Time out.
Don't want a timeout.
Time out, Shad. Time out. We can't just leave that like that. So on our first interview with Trey Simmons, right, one of the things he touched on was if you're averaging 14 or 15 at a high level in Europe, you're killing. So for you to be doing 20 a night for a career is crazy. It's crazy.
Wow. I didn't even know that. I didn't. Like, I led Italy in scoring.
Yeah.
When me and Dave played together, I think I was second in the league in scoring. Yeah. Like, it was just, I led France in scoring. I led Saudi Arabia in scoring. It was what I did. But right. I lost out on a lot of money because of that, though. I lost out on a lot of money. A lot of teams, I would get a lot of calls from my agent and be like, yeah, the team in Spain, like, they not looking for a guard that can score like that. Like, I would lose jobs because of it. So I kind of went into a little bit of a sports depression because I didn't really, and this is one of the reasons why I retired early too. I retired at 30 because I was tired. I didn't know how to change what God made me to be. You know, like, I was a great scorer. I was a great scorer as a kid. I was all-time leading scorer in my high school. I was all-time leading scorer in my college. Like, so I didn't know anything else but to do that. And I think a lot of times the word score gets looked at in a negative light. Because a lot of times when you say, oh, he's a great scorer, automatically people think they're selfish. And and people can ask Dave. Dave played with me. I was never selfish. Never. Like, I passed the ball all the time. And so it's just, you know, that kind of got me to the point where I was just, you know, kind of done with the sport after playing in all these countries. And even that same skill set is the reason why I believe I didn't get drafted in the NBA as well. Because of my ability to score at that size wasn't attractive to NBA teams. They wanted little guys to play 94 feet defense.
That's a fact.
94 feet defense, pass the ball to the bigs, and cut to the corner, get out of the way. That was NBA basketball in the 90s. Y'all know that.
Right. Absolutely.
Until AI hit the scene.
And AI was just an exception to the rule.
Right.
AI was an exception to the rule. He defied the odds.
And he had to fight it all the way through himself, even.
All the way through. He fought it, but he was so great.
Yeah.
Like, AI was so great. Sometimes you could be so great that you could defy the rules.
Of course.
He was that great.
Yeah.
I wasn't that great, so I couldn't break the rules.
Right.
I wasn't at the, you know.
I got a question. They were calling you Baby Iverson, no. They called you Baby Iverson when you was playing in college. So you was that great, but as you said, at that time, it was already one Iverson there, so they didn't want to flood the market. You know what I mean?
Hey, it's one thing that you mentioned a second ago that I really want to kind of unpack a little bit, if you're open to it. You said you went into kind of a sports depression.
Yep.
Can you mind speaking a little bit more on that? Because I'm saying this because so many guys I know, not exactly for the same reason that you did, but guys in general in sport go through what I call a sports depression, or I would, or like a PTSD type situation once their career is over, right? So it can hit you in different ways, and I'm just interested to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, the sports depression thing is real, and we all can relate to it because we all played overseas. My sports depression really started right after I left Turkey. When we were in Turkey, 07?
05.
06?
05.
05, yeah. 05.
Okay.
So it was around after I left Turkey, but I still would have little flashes of it, even in Turkey. Just a combination of things, being away from home, not really understanding what the future holds for you, just really, really struggling with the entire landscape of how did I get here and why am I here? For me, I was just one of those people who set their goals on becoming an NBA player, and I believe that I fit the criteria. I did everything possible to get there. So when you work so hard for something and then you end up with something else, it automatically puts you in a dark place. So I pretty much played my entire career in Europe under a sports depression. I was pretty much depressed my entire 8-year career. But then you had great teammates like Dave. Like Dave got me through Turkey. Like without Dave, I don't make it through Turkey. He would make me come out the house. I never came out the house. Dave, did I come out the house?
Nah, man, you always wanted to stay in, man. I remember, like, now that you're talking about it, I didn't think about you having a depression then, but as you speak about that, I remember toward the end of the year, because remember when we first got to the team didn't win. They haven't won the game. So I remember toward the end of the year, we won some games. We was in the playoff hunt. We had to win a couple more games. We wouldn't make the playoffs. And I remember talking to you because we rode together every day.
Every day.
I was like, hey, man, Shaw, man, we could beat these teams, man. We make playoffs, man. We get this bonus. And you was like, man, I'm just ready to go home.
Yep.
I was like, man, I feel you. Me too. But let's get this money. We both need this money. And all the conversations we talk, you're like, yeah, you're right. I do need this money. I do need this money, man. So okay, let's do it. But in that process, I used to make Rashad come out the house. Hey, okay, let's go out here, man. Let's go eat, or come over to my crib, man. We over here chilling, man. Or we was roommates. Like we laughed constantly. Everything was constant laughter
all day.
So, between the splits, between all the conversations we had, everything. So it helped them, and the people that we was around also, I think also helped, because that year, Turkey was a beast that first year. Like the league was rough. I mean, Rashad had to come with it every night. You had Khalid El-Amin at Besiktas. You had Will Solomon at Efes. You had your old teammate at Karsheka.
Yeah, Greg Graves.
Yeah.
Tony Akins was on another team from Georgia Tech. It was a really tough league when we were playing, and I was just, again, battling that sports depression, but again, like, having Dave as a teammate kind of got me through it. So when I went to different countries, I would try to find something to keep me sane for that 8-9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it was just, you go through the coaching changes, you go to your money being late,
right? Right.
Like all of that. And after our year in Turkey, I remember the president pulled me and Dave we had a meeting, and they were going to make us the 2 highest paid players, on the team, and that they had paid. And then, then it fell through, so that didn't happen for us, so it was like we went through promises from presidents and owners that, me and Dave was like the top 1 and 2 punch. It was us two, and it was Mark Dickel and Pascal, the dunker.
Yeah, they was nice.
They was really nice.
They was nice.
So
Dickel used to
it was like
this.
Man, Mark Dickel can pass the ball. Woo!
Yeah. The dude, what's his name, Pascal? He used to fly.
Dunk everything.
Boom.
Dunk everything. I've never seen a person dunk so many times. Like, it was just, even what we watched them on tape, all his baskets were just dunks. Just all dunks. And Mark Dickel just could, he threw a pass that literally skint my nose. Like, he threw a pass so hard that thing skint my nose. And I'm like, man, this dude. So, I had a great time, but it was really, I sympathize with guys when they're overseas, because I know what they're going through.
So let me ask you this question. You saying you sympathize with guys, you had a great time, but it was tough for you. Was basketball the only toughest part, or was it the cultural changes also that that you had to endure being in Europe?
I think it was a little bit of everything. Basketball-wise is where I was comfortable. I was comfortable with basketball. I didn't have a problem with the basketball. It was the basketball portion of it was only 2 hours out of the day, right?
Right.
You got 22 more hours to figure out how do you make it through the day. And a lot of times, sitting in those apartments by yourself, playing PlayStation and all of that, we didn't have the technology that we have today.
No.
I know it's much easier today. We come up in the era where I'm trying to webcam, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Those prepaid.
Man, listen. I had like a whole drawer of webcams, dog, that I had bought. the little attachables that you
Yeah.
Right. Like I try to tell people, man, we used to have to go buy minutes to call home. How much money we spent on prepaid contour?
Thousands. We spent. Me and Dave used to leave practice. Every day we would leave practice and go to the gas station and spend like $100 on calling cards.
Yeah.
Like every day. So if you think about it, we practice Monday through Friday. If we spend $100 a day, we were spending $500 a week just so we can talk on the phone to our girlfriends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So after a month, we spending $2,000 on calling cards.
Yep.
And like you said, man, you had all them webcams.
Hey, did you ever go to internet cafes?
Yeah, we had one of those in Saudi Arabia. We had an internet cafe. Yeah. So we used to go to that, but Saudi Arabia was a whole other experience in itself.
What you speak on it? Speak on Saudi Arabia. I don't know too many people who played in Saudi Arabia.
Man, so this was my last year. So
hold on. Time out. So before you dig into that, was it your last year because of your experience there?
No, Actually,
Okay.
it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't. No.
Okay.
No. So it's a twist to this story. So I just turned. I'm 30, and I get a. I'm kind of on my last leg. I'm just kind of tired of the hustle and bustle of it. I'm like, I've been doing it since I was 23. I'm kind of getting tired of it. So my agent said, "Hey man, it's a team in Saudi Arabia. I'm looking for a job. My money not where it's supposed to be. So my agent, like, I got a job for you in Saudi Arabia." I'm like, Saudi Arabia? Like, what? Like, what's going on? So long story short, I talked it over with my family and was like, you know what? Let me just try it. And they guaranteed me a large chunk of money after I got off the plane and passed my physical. So, as an American.
Excuse me, sir. On this here particular podcast, what we like to do is talk actuals and factuals. So,
okay. So I was guaranteed $10,000 as soon as I got off the plane.
And that's rare. That don't happen.
No.
Yeah, but see, this is because it was Saudi Arabia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to get me to get on that plane to fly over there,
right.
they guaranteed me $10,000 off the plane after I passed my physical. So I'm like, well, worst case scenario, I'm gonna pass my physical, get my $10,000. If I don't like it, I'll play a game or two and go home. That was kind of my thought process.
Right.
So I get there, I was really dreading it, long ass flight. I get there and I get off the plane and I'm looking around and everybody's covered.
Real.
The women are covered and I'm thinking like, what's going on? The women, you can't see the women. Do you unveil them or like, I don't know what's going on.
Man, you bet not. Man, what?
So I don't know if you unveil it. Like, I don't know what's going on. So
right.
It's a little different than where I'm from. So I get there, everybody covered up. I'm like, man, I feel naked because everybody else covered, right?
Right.
So, they pick me up. I get to my apartment, and when we get there, when they drop me off, as soon as I get out the car, there's a dude outside with a rocket launcher on his shoulder.
Man, stop, man.
I'm serious. So I'm like,
man, stop.
Dude had a rocket launcher on his shoulder. I'm like, where the hell y'all just where am I at? Where am I at? Dude got a rocket launcher on his shoulder, and he just kind of looked at me, and I'm just kind of like, kind of gave him a nod, and he didn't nod back. He just gave me a look like, get closer, this rocket launcher might go.
Like, anybody can get it.
Anybody can get it. So I'm like, damn.
Right.
Let me get this physical and get this 10 racks and get up out of here. Hey. So, so as it went on, though, long story short, I end up, the Saudi Arabian people had to be probably the most nicest group of people that I've ever been surrounded with. And they treated me so well. I made so many friends. My coach was amazing. I had phenomenal teammates. They paid me every dime, never was late on my money. I had a driver that took me everywhere, or if I didn't want to go out, he would bring me food or whatever I needed. I had my own personal driver, and I had my best statistically, I had my best season in Saudi Arabia when I ended up winning MVP, and I averaged like 29 that year.
Didn't you drop a 50 ball?
A few of them. Yeah, I had a few 50s. Yeah, I had a few 50s. Well, I knew I was going to retire, man. So I wanted to get my scoring average
How'd
because
you know you was going to retire?
by the middle of the season, I just was done, bro. I was done. I talked to my coach about it because they offered me a 3-year deal to come back. They offered me a 3-year deal to come back. I was done.
You were MVP, so it had to be attractive.
It was attractive. It was. It really was. It was. I mean, it was some big money. It was 3 years, but I was done, man. Mentally, again, it's that sports depression.
Yeah.
You know, I was away from my family. My daughter was, I think she was 2 or 3 at the time. So I was missing out. I was not going to bring my family over there, you know, like it just wasn't the place. So it just wasn't worth it for me. So I won MVP. I think I had 3 50-point games. I still got the articles. I had 3 50-point games. I had like 2 40-point games. I had a bunch of 39s. I ended up averaging just under 30 in that season. And I had a game where I hit 15 3-pointers. And so I had some stupid numbers in Saudi. You know what? And it was funny because like the competition wasn't bad. Because a lot of people saying, "Oh, Rashad, the competition was weak." But I was hanging 50 in Italy my rookie year. Like, so I was getting 50 and 40 way before I got to Saudi Arabia. It was just, I had the coach and the teammates that really loved scoring point guards in the Middle East. So they were embracing what I was. So they were kind of perpetuating what I was. And opposed to in Europe, they were kind of pushing back on who I was. So they like, man, shoot that thing every time. My coach would look at me and be like, "You're not shooting enough." And so it was easier for me to have 50, 40-point games because they were pushing me to do that.
So, won't you speak on that? We was in Europe. We're trying to let people know that it's not really an individual game. Like, it's more kind of like college style, team oriented, and the coaches run things. It's kind of getting away from that now, but it's not like it was when you was playing. When you was playing, that's all it was. So why don't you talk on that a little bit? Like, talk about the differences. Yeah,
when you look at, you know, European basketball, it's way more structured. There's a lot more rules in play. Not a lot of individualism on the court. They don't really allow a lot of individuality. And you know, obviously the game's evolving now. But I'll tell you a huge mistake that I made, and I want to say it on you guys' show, is
this.
So obviously I'm an NBA prospect evaluator, was what I do today. And a kid that I completely was wrong about because of the style of European play was Luka Doncic. I was completely wrong. And it's crazy because when I evaluated him because of the style of play in Europe and never considered the open style he would play in the NBA.
Right.
So I misevaluated him because I played in Europe and knew like how the style was, but never really talked about the evolution of the game from him going to the NBA. And that's one prospect that I completely was 100% wrong on. And it's crazy because Dave would call me and tell me that I was wrong. And Dave would call me and we would argue. And Dave be like, "Shad, you're wrong on this Luka Doncic kid." I'm like, "No, he can't do it because in Europe he only averaged 12 points a game.
He's on guard. How you gonna get his shot off?" Like, man.
Listen. My best friend said all the same things you said, and I was on his neck Like, dude, you're tripping. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and you know what? As an evaluator for me, I have no problem saying when I'm wrong, because I don't have any agenda towards when I evaluate a kid, because I want all of them to succeed. I don't want any of them to be bad, but when I'm doing my job, I try to evaluate the best way I can. And I believe I allow my biasness get in the way of evaluating Luka Doncic. And I've went all the way to the point of going into the Dallas Mavericks locker room and apologizing to him face to face. And he accepted it, and it meant so much to me because I felt like I did the kid wrong and misevaluated the European style of play. Not European players, the European style.
Yeah.
And so, Luka Doncic made me a better evaluator. He made me a better evaluator because of that. And when I went into the locker room with the Mavericks, me and Rick Carlisle go way back. Rick Carlisle was my pre-draft coach in Phoenix. So I've been knowing Rick Carlisle since I was like 21 years old. So I saw Rick at the Orlando Magic game. Rick told me to come into the locker room after the game. I told Rick that I wanted to apologize to Luka, and Rick was like, that means a lot, and that says a lot about you as an evaluator, Rashad, because a lot of evaluators, they don't want to say when they're wrong. So he walked me over to Luka's locker, and Luka knew exactly who I was. He knew I was the guy that was wrong. Like, he gave me this look, like this mean look, and I was okay with it because he's a competitor. I get it. He gave me this look like, how dare you misevaluate me? And he had every right to look at me that way. Every right. I'm a man at the end of the day, and I respect another man. And he looked at me like, how dare you get me wrong? And then once I apologized to him, man, he gave me a dap, hugged me, and he was like, it's all good. So from then on, I've had a new respect for the Dallas Mavericks organization and also Luka as a player. Now, I support him. I get a lot of pushback, from a lot of his following. They don't like me at all, but they got to understand, like, it's part of my job.
Right.
It's part of my job. So I'm excited to see him continue to move up the ladder and have success at the NBA level. And he's actually really fun to watch.
I agree. Can I share my little Luka Doncic story? Can I share mine? Listen, so in the prime of my career, I spent 2 years in the Adriatic League playing in Slovenia. Okay. And so my take is, Luka must have watched me play when he was growing up.
You got to step back like that?
Not like that. That was crazy. I had a nice little step back, but not like that.
Yeah, he got a wicked step back, bro. It's wicked.
Mean. Yeah, it's mean.
Yeah. So I mean, shout out to Luka Doncic, man. That's a great kid. He's gonna be a future MVP one day.
Yeah.
Shaw, man, I know you played a lot of places, man. I can honestly say that you was a guy who really got buckets at being as small as you were, man. I remember when we were together, the first coach that we had to win the game against Karsheka. He pretty much told you that if we don't win this game, I'm sending you home, because he didn't like your style of play.
Yep.
Long story short, you went out, this was against your ex-teammate, and I remember like it was yesterday, you went and gave him 40.
Yeah.
It was an easy 40. Like, it was like a 40. It was like, it didn't even look like 40. It was a 40 and it didn't even look like 40. Okay,
What's 40?
Yeah. Was 40.
40. I remember that.
What you go into that game if you remember that? Like when he told you, I'm sending you home unless we win this game, what were you thinking?
It was one of the first times of my career that I felt the pressure of being a professional athlete. You know, I had never experienced, if I don't do something, that it's gonna directly affect me at that moment. Like, it basically given an ultimatum, a sports ultimatum. Either you play good or you're done. Like, I had never had that happen to me before. So, you know, I have to give you a lot of credit, Dave, because as a teammate, you didn't want to see me go, and you continued to coach me through that game. And that's what a real teammate does. Like, you told me before the game, like, this your game, bro. Like, do what you got to do. Because they loved you. Like, Dave was beloved in Turkey. Like,
no doubt.
He could do no wrong.
No doubt.
He could do no wrong. All the teammates loved Dave. He just could do no wrong. I was always the black sheep of the team.
No, not really. The teammates loved you. Our teammates loved you. What you mean?
Well, but I was always kind of the small one that didn't do a lot. Dave kept everybody together. I was always in my sports depression, like, kind of just like, man, let's get this practice over with so I could be done with it.
I would say Tone helped with that also. We had another teammate, Pretty Tone. Pretty Tone helped with that also.
Pretty Tone. Y'all got me through it. Like, I got to give these dudes credit. Like, they got me through the year. But that game, Dave was like, bro, you gotta be who you are. Like, he kind of gave me the pep talk before the game. And as the game started, it was like, soon as the ball went up, Dave won the jump ball, right into it, ball screen, pop for 3. Like, as soon as I hit my first shot, Dave was like, we own this. This gonna be all night. Like, he coached me through every bucket. Every bucket.
Keep shooting. I'm gonna get the board. Just keep shooting. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Guess what I'm getting.
Yeah, it was like, and I think that game, I went like 13 for 20. Like, I didn't miss a lot. I hit like 7 threes. We won in overtime. We only won by like 3. It was a close game.
It was a good game.
So you needed all 40.
Oh no, we needed it. Like, we only won by 3. And then I remember, you know, like I said, as the game was going on, Dave was like coaching me, like throwing me the ball, setting me screens, or just making our other teammates scream for me. It was just like, it was one of those moments that I knew that.
You're right. But let me say something. Just let everybody know. Other teammates were trash.
We didn't have a good team. We didn't have. They were great guys off the court, but we wasn't. Hey.
But you gotta understand, we had some good like when I came to the team late, we both came late.
Hey,
we both.
Dave is saying this. He live in Turkey right now.
Yeah, and I would tell them that to their face, though. Everybody know this about me. Hey, man.
Yeah. Dave never sugarcoated nothing.
That's a fact.
Hey, so we had some pretty good Americans who came through that team. I didn't come until November. I think Rashad was probably there maybe a week before me.
Yeah, I had just got there before you.
And Terrence Roberson was there. Roberson was a excellent player. He was
really good.
He was a 6'7" shooter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Really good. Yeah.
He ended up getting hurt, and they said too. They had a big man, a guy I came to replace, who was doing work too before I got there.
Was it Francais, right? It was
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. They brought
by
me
the
in.
time Rashad got there, we started working. We won our first game against Bonville. And the only reason we won is because of me and Rashad. That was my first 2020 game in Turkey. Rashad probably had something stupid like 20-something. And
Yeah.
But the head coach didn't like Rashad, but everybody else did. The president did. We went home for a break and came back. We had a whole new coach. And he let Rashad rock the rest of the season.
That's a fact. The first coach didn't like me at all because he said he didn't like me scoring like that. So I don't know. He put a lot of pressure on me. Like I said, the game, you know, he said if we don't win this game and you don't play well, we're going to send you home. I end up with 40. We won by 3. But then we went. That was our last game because that was in December, Dave. We went home for Christmas. But that was our last game before Christmas break. So they basically was like, you don't play well, you going home and you're not going to come back. So we won that game. We went home for Christmas break. We were gone for like 7 days. We got back to Turkey and we had a new coach. So this new coach now, this new coach we had was so strict. Like, I've never played for a coach this strict. Now, this is a funny story. This is a true story. So we get this coach. His name is Okan.
Okay.
He comes in. Our first practice with the new coach, we sit down with him. He's a little man with this deep voice. He got this deep-ass voice, and he's a little man. Mm-hmm. So we had a meeting with him. He comes in smoking his cigarette, and he's like, we're going to do it this way. We're not going to do all that dribbling. We're not going to do this. Like, everything that we were good at, he was saying we wasn't going to do. I'm like, well, right now I'm averaging like 20 points a game. So I'm right up there in the top 5 in the league in scoring. Dave is leading Turkey in rebounding. Dave was leading the entire league in rebounding. I was like 3rd in the league in scoring. So we basically got 2 of the top dominant Americans on one team, but our other teammates aren't as good because we had a lot of young dudes or old dudes. We didn't have any in-between guys.
Tone got that. He did a little bit of everything.
Tone came over from Louis. You know, Tone's a Louisville alum. Tone shot 42% from 3 in college. He always reminded me and Dave that when we didn't swing him the ball. And Tone be like, you better swing that thing. I'm a 42% three-point shooter. Hey, Tone would run down his resume in the middle of the game. Like, if we don't pass him the ball, Tone would be like, look, man, I do a little bit of everything, you know. But he helped us. But we got this new coach, first day of practice. We don't know what to go. Me and Dave like, bro, this going to be brutal. And we run in the offense, and I come down, and, you know, I get into my Isaiah Thomas shake and bake. I'm baking on the wing. I hit a 30-foot three-pointer. Coach blow the whistle. No! 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 Hey, bro, I can't make this up. He blows the whistle so hard, runs out on the court, gets right in front of me. Now, he's smaller than me. I'm 5'9". I'm taller than him. He runs and gets in my face. No! No! So I'm looking at him like, man, I'll whoop your ass. You know? So, the funny thing, you know, we in our 20s. So what happened was, he wasn't really mad at me. This is what I found out as the year went. He just didn't want me to start that and put a bad example on our Turkish teammates.
He was trying to set the tone. Because I don't know if you remember, Rashad, I ended up cussing him out.
Yeah, you always did.
To the president.
What coach
you went and talked to the president on me.
Yep. The president loved you. So the president loved us. We wasn't going anywhere. You know?
Because he kind of went to the office like, he come, all he says is, fuck you, what the fuck is you talking about? What the fuck. And the president was like, he leading the league in rebounding.
He leads Turkey. He averaged like 15 rebounds a game. How we gonna replace him? You know. So as the season went though, he had a meeting with me, and he went down my stats, and he was like, I want you to, he was like, you could be better than this. He was like, you're averaging 20 a game. You're shooting like 39% from three, 86 from free throw. You can be much better than this. And I want you to be better than this. And it surprised me because in practice, all he did was yell at me. But behind closed doors, he was telling me that you could be a much better player than what you're showing. And as the season went, he started to like just let me do my thing. And my scoring average kind of ended up at like 22 a game. But with him, I was averaging like 26.
We got to the point where he said nothing to neither one of us.
Yeah.
We did whatever we wanted to.
Yeah. And he was just he was probably the second best coach that I've ever had overseas. The second best coach that I had overseas. Like, he was a really good dude. Now that I'm older, I understand what he was doing. But at 20, I'm 25. Right. Like, no, I'm dancing the ball. I'm just, look, this is what I do, bro. I get down. I get 50 on people. You better get you some popcorn and sit on the side and watch this show. But now that I'm older, I understand he was just trying to implement structure because our team wasn't structured. Like, our Turkish guys were wild. He was more angry at them than he was us because me and Dave
smoking in the locker room at halftime.
Like, all of that, man. But so he was the best coach that I had outside of my Saudi Arabian coach. He embraced it, and he would whisper to me in the game, I want you to score these next few baskets I'm gonna call isolation and just let you go to work. Like, he would do that, So shout out to Coach Okan. I haven't talked to him in so long, but when I left Turkey, I actually kept in contact with him and then we end up losing connection. But if you out there, Coach Okan, man, thank you for everything, brother.
I got a question. I love how you keep bigging up Dave as kind of like your big bro OG who kind of like looked out for you at the time, right?
Yep.
A guy who was on my team and was that for me early in my career, I think chances are you got to know him when you had to have played against him at some point. So my question to you is, who's the bigger bucket, you or Brian Tober?
Damn. Brian Tober's my dude because his older brother, Tony Tober, averaged 43 points a game at DePorres in high school. So
right.
Brian comes from the lineage.
Buckets running the family. Right.
Brian comes from a lineage of buckets. Tony Tober, his older brother, went to Michigan with the Fab Five. And then he ended up transferring to my alma mater, our alma mater, University of Detroit, where I broke his records at University of Detroit. He scored 1,200 points in 2 years at UAD. And he probably would be top 3 in scoring if he would have went to UAD for all 4 years.
Right.
But Brian, his younger brother, I'm going to give I was a bigger bucket than Brian because Brian was a little bit of a different type of style of player than me. Yep. Brian was a little bit more versatile than I was. He could play. He did a little bit of everything. And Brian played at Eastern Michigan with Earl Boykins, was lightning.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say I'm a bigger bucket because I was always top 5 in the nation in scoring in college and carried that over into the pros. And Brian was always just a better, more versatile player than me. He defended a little better. He jumped a little higher. He passed a little bit more than I did. So he was better all around than I was. But I was definitely a better.
I hear that.
All right, man. We
got great dude.
Last 2 questions we want to ask, man, but I will let you get out of here, man. So, your favorite country that you've been to and why?
Man, it's gonna sound biased, but it was turkey.
We had a good time.
I had a great time for a lot of reasons I can't say on camera, but but turkey was great.
We had a lot of good people around. We had a lot of good people around.
Shot. Just know, I played 3 seasons in Turkey myself, so I'm hip.
Turkey was great.
Right.
So I know you got you got Sports Talk 2319 going on now, man. So what you talk about everything that you have going on now?
So, right now I have my own NBA draft website, and which is sportstalk2319.com. I have my own podcast with my co-host Kendrick Perkins called No Agendas. I have an interview coming out with Hall of Famer, 12-time NBA All-Star Isaiah Thomas, coming out in the next couple of weeks. So, man, I'm doing a little bit of everything, man. I'm excited at the possibilities of, building my own conglomerate. I have my own NBA draft show as well that I do every year. The NBA draft has been moved to October 16th, so I'll be doing that with my partners over at SUV TV. So I'm just doing a little bit of everything, just trying to give back to the game the best way I can and try to educate, enlighten, and also, just shed light on the entire landscape of college basketball with prospects, predictions, what have you. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Oh, man. Yeah, you're doing your thing, man. We've been, I always kept my eye on you. We always kept in contact over these years, which is rare. A lot of teammates that played in Europe don't even keep in contact with each other. But, we have, man, and I've seen how much, you built from the ground up, starting with the training that you started with, and you just pretty much went on your own way, and you said, man, I got to do it. This is what I want to do. So, man, I just want to let you know, man, I'm proud of you, man. I'm always rooting for you. If ever you need something, I'm here for you.
Yeah, you already know that, brother. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys will let me come back on the show. I still got more stories to tell, but it's been great. It's been truly an honor to be on you guys' show. And Dave, again, just for the friendship that we've developed. I mean, we've been friends for over 15 years, and you're one of the few people that always keep in touch with me. Me and Dave get on the phone, and we got so much stuff we laugh about, man. But I really appreciate it, man. I really do, man. Keep doing your thing, guys. I really love the show. Huge supporter of it. And I look forward to watching and see who will be the next guest on you guys' show.
Yeah. Last thing, man, why don't you tell people how to get in contact with you, man? What's your handles, man, if they want to watch your show, what they got to go through to watch it?
Yeah. You can log in to my subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Sports Talk 2319. My website is sportstalk2319.com. You can find me on Instagram, which is Rashad Phillips 2319. You can find me on Twitter, which is RP3Natural. A lot of people ask me, what does 2319 mean? It's the amount of points that I scored in college, 2,319 points. So that's a lot of buckets for a 5'9", 155-pound kid from the east side of Detroit.
What's the name of you and Kendrick show?
It's called No Agendas.
Okay, where can you see that at?
You can find it on my website, sportstalk2319.com. You can find all of my material is on my website.
Okay. All right, man. Again, man, appreciate you, man. Of course, you're always welcome to come back and
always friend of the show.
Family,
I appreciate it. Hey, Snow, keep this guy in line, man, please.
I got you. It ain't easy, but I'm gonna do
it. Talk soon.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to EuroSteppin Podcast. Follow us on everything: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. EuroSteppin Podcast, no G.
Because we got all the game.
Thought it was was a joke. What they still playing games for? Holes in my denim, never holes in my game, no. You won't be just like me, they don't love you the same, no. The series 3-0, and I'm back home for game